Hey everyone, my name is Michael Coker and I'm the mayor of the city of Mulberry. And today I'm going to give you a little insider look into what a mayor does on a day-to-day basis. What is a mayor? How does a mayor function? And what does my day look like on a typical basis? As the mayor of the city of Mulberry, I'm tasked with doing 1,000 different things. It seems like every day is something different. But I want to give you an insider look of what a mayor does, what the process is, what a mayor's responsibilities are, and kind of what aspects of being a mayor are most important. Now, when you have a city, there's really two types of mayors. There's what's called strong mayors and there's called weak mayors. Strong mayors are what you may think of at more traditional cities where there's a full-time mayor. This is their full-time job. They work 9 to 5 every day at City Hall. They may or may not vote with the city council. Sometimes they just preside over the meetings but don't actually have a vote in what happens. And they are basically the face of the city. Think of them like the president. They're the executive branch of the city. The city council is the legislative branch, and their job is to kind of execute the vision of the city council. That's called a strong mayor. In Mulberry, we have what's called a weak mayor. And the first time anybody told me I was a weak mayor, I thought it was an insult. But the reality is it's actually a term that we use dealing with cities where the mayor may not be a full-time employee. They may have another job like me. So I'm a full-time lawyer. I have a law practice in Lawrenceville that I go to every single day and that I work at every single day. I do cases, I do court hearings, I do depositions. And so basically my mayoral duties are basically on the side or kind of on a part-time basis. And so I work in my law practice during the day, but also throughout the day, I do a lot with the city. I might have a meeting with somebody, or I might have to take a phone call. But my primary job still is a practicing lawyer. Yeah, it's not to be the mayor. And so that is what a weak mayor is typically a weak mayor is just a member of, for example, the city council. I have no more power than any other member of the city council. My vote counts exactly the same as theirs. My job is basically just to be the figurehead, the spokesperson, and to kind of lead the meetings as a weak mayor. And so what does a day-to-day look like for a weak mayor as opposed to a strong mayor? So a weak mayor's day might be working another job like me, might have a different full-time job, and that basically my responsibilities to the city are both in the evenings or at city council meetings, but also to take periodic meetings and times throughout the day. I'm very lucky that my law practice, I have a phenomenal staff. And so that allows me to do things for the city throughout the day, even when I should be on the clock for my law practice. And so I rely on my staff, I rely on my team in my law practice to cover the law firm when I need to be at City Hall or doing my mayor duties. So on a typical day, I usually start most days with a phone call with our city manager, Jamie Palmer. He gives me an update of what's been going on in the city, any meetings that are scheduled that day, important items that are coming up. He and I will talk, we'll discuss those, and then I'll give him my opinion, and I'll also inform the other council members if there's something that needs to be done. So I meet with him, or I have a quick phone call with him. I'll also sometimes speak with the city attorney if there's any pending litigation or court items that need to be discussed. We'll talk about those as well. And so we'll have a discussion. I'll answer any questions he might have. He might give me an update. And then throughout the day, I might have an occasional meeting. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, I spoke at an elementary school about being a mayor and what a mayor does. And so I might have different public appearances. We might have ribbon cuttings that I have to be at, or, different meetings with individuals who want to build something in the city or to want to talk about the future of the city. But we also meet with other city and governmental representatives. And so I might have a meeting with, say, a representative from the county, or I might have a meeting with a representative from another city to discuss some sort of coordination or aspect between the city. And so these are all important meetings that we have, almost it seems like daily. where I'm checking in with somebody, where I'm having a conversation, and we're talking about some aspect of Mulberry and some aspect of the future of Mulberry and how it's going to continue. And so these meetings pop up periodically, day to day, and unfortunately, I've got a very good calendar that has to stay up to date, so I know exactly when I have a Mulberry event and then when I have a law firm event. And it's all about coordination. It's all about that kind of balance between both the law firm and the city. And so that's kind of the typical day-to-day of what it's like. And then what we do is in the city is we also have council meetings. So on generally a couple times a month, we will go to the council meeting. And as the mayor, it's my responsibility to conduct those meetings, to basically ensure that they're orderly, that they are civil, that every vote is heard, that every voice is heard that needs to be heard. And so it's my job to conduct that meeting and to be the representative to ensure that all the votes are taken properly. And so I will do that, and I will do that at those council meetings. And that's a big part of what I do as a week mayor, is basically be the individual who both leads the council meetings but also is kind of the communicator for the public. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing these podcasts, right? So that you can stay up to date and you can know what's going on in Mulberry. Because as mayor, that's my responsibility, is to get the information out to the public, to communicate to you important things that you need to know, both in an emergency situation, but also in a non-emergency situation. And so these are all kind of aspects of what a weak mayor would do. Now, if you're a strong mayor, your day is probably going to be completely filled just with things relating to the city. You're probably not going to have another job, and you're probably going to spend all day, every working day at City Hall doing nothing but city business. And so when Mulberry was founded, the idea was that we would have a weak mayor because we are a limited service city. You might have heard the term City Light. So City Light means that we are only providing 3 services. We're not a city who's performing, all these services. We're providing garbage, we're providing parks and recreation, we're providing, gas and electricity. We are a limited service city. And so in order to be as responsible and conservative as possible, we're trying to limit the amount of employees we have. We're trying to limit the cost of the city. And so the idea being is that the mayor and the council are really doing it more as a service to the community than anything. Now, the charter does say that we do get paid a nominal amount. I think it's like $7,000, which, that's before taxes are even taken out. And so obviously none of us are doing this for the money. It's not about the money. It's not for the money. It's that we want to serve our community and that we want to be there and participate in public service and do what we think is best to ensure that Mulberry continues to prosper into the future. And so that's kind of the day-to-day of what we do as a mayor. Let me talk a little bit about kind of what the rest of City Hall looks like and what some of the other employees and other people involved are. So we have in Mulberry a city manager who basically manages the employees at City Hall. So that city manager is a gentleman by the name of Jamie Palmer. He comes from the city of Woodstock. I plan to have him on this podcast very soon. But he is somebody who comes in every day and manages the employees of the city. Well, what employees do we have? Well, we have, employees who manage the finance department. We have employees that manage the community development department. They take the applications for permits and zonings and those types of things. But he also manages other aspects, the administration of various items, the various day-to-day operations. And so that's Jamie's expertise, right? My expertise is to go to the community, to be your voice, to set policy, but it's Jamie's responsibility as the city manager to operate the city on a day-to-day basis. And so that continued operation, that continued work from Jamie, that's something that he does. And so he manages those employees at the city office. We also have another employee at the city who is a city clerk. And the city's clerk's responsibility is basically to manage the documents within the city. So things like the minutes, council meetings, any ordinances, and then to respond to any open records request. And that's Chandler Faith Pitts, our clerk. She said it on a podcast here, so if you didn't miss that episode, definitely go back and give it a listen. And she talked a little bit about what clerks do. But that's another employee that we have at the city. And she's a special kind of employee because she has a special responsibility to ensure that those documents and everything are preserved. So that's a few of the different individuals that work at the city, that are a part of the city, and kind of what my role is on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people think that I come in and manage those individuals. I don't. I have complete faith and trust in Jamie. He reports to me and the rest of the council, and then the other employees report to him. And so if you're trying to figure out, well, who do I need to contact for a certain issue? I mean, you can always contact me. I am more than happy to help you in any way that I can. But I will tell you that if it's a day-to-day operations question, your best contact is probably going to be Jamie, and he will probably be able to direct you to the right person. Again, of course, you're always welcome to come to me and ask me any question you want, me or the other council members. But our job is more to set policy. So if you have an idea or you have thoughts about the future of Mulberry and what it should look like or what it could look like, then we would be the primary contact for that. But that just kind of gives you an assessment. We have other people working for the city. Some volunteers offered to help. We have a planning commission who have volunteered their time to review and make recommendations to the council for new developments that may go in the city. We have a planning and zoning board of appeals. That's basically if there's an appeal to a decision that our community development director makes, they hear that. So we have a lot of volunteers, a lot of people willing to work. We have interns who are willing to come and learn about local government, who want to have a future in local government, kind of learning more about the city. And so all these individuals, some paid, some volunteers, are all here for one purpose, and that's to see Mulberry succeed. And so that is a little bit of a history and a little bit of an idea of what the difference between a strong mayor and a weak mayor are, a little bit of an understanding of the employees that we have with the city, and kind of whose reports to whom and whose responsibility are the employees. And so hopefully that gave you a little bit of an inside look at basically a city, how it operates in the process. If you like getting these updates, please like and subscribe. I hope that you enjoy these and that they're informative. As I said, as mayor, one of my primary responsibilities is to provide information to you. And I felt like this was one of the best ways for me to get information to you was to continue the discussions, to continue talking through this podcast. So if you like getting these updates, if you like getting these information, we'll continue to have guests that will further explain how cities operate, how Mulberry operates. But if you ever need anything, obviously reach out to me. But like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for listening.